If you're watching this video, then you're watching hopefully this around the time that it was done. So all I'm doing is getting ready to edit my next video that's going to be publishing to the channel on live streaming and all that stuff. So I figured it'd be cool if I went ahead and went live and showed you what it looks like. Again, this video isn't a tutorial. Wasn't even planned as kind of a last minute thing. So you will just kind of see, be a fly on the wall, so to speak, inside what it's like when I'm going through editing, just like what that thought process is. Maybe it'll help you out. Maybe hang out, listen to some jams and all that stuff. But definitely not one of my more published videos, so to speak. So hopefully you'll be able to hear and see everything really well as I'm going through and editing. I won't be able to keep up with all of the chat stuff and everything like I usually do. Let me see and make sure I get everything pulled up real quick as best as I can. And my guilty pleasures of eating Oreo cookies or knockoff Oreo cookies from the dollar store. So otherwise, what's up, Bobby World? What's up, Rob Fuzz in his house? That's stretched all the way across the screen. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. Alrighty. So, and then we got, okay, so let me go through the comments real quick. Said, I'm playing with my new camera. Hey, congratulations. So did you go, what camera did you go with? So let me know. So this is just like a chill video. I'm not like, I don't have nothing planned really other than to edit my video that I was going to have to edit anyway, but I figured if whoever wants to hang out, see, ask questions or whatever, as best I can, I'll get through all of those and stuff like that and just kind of go through what my process is like. Just editing a video, nothing special, nothing fancy. So what camera did you get? Did you get the M50 or did you get the A6400, Rob? So let me know. Said, love your video, so awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate that. Always, really, really do appreciate that. Bobby World says, hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good day, sir. Good to see you. So I went from not wanting the Osmo Pocket to wanting one again. That's exactly the same thing I went through, which is why I bought it again. And I was going to leave a reply comment again to your video, or not your video, your comment. And what wound up happening was I got rid of the Osmo Pocket. And I'm like, but it's like you can't think of it like a regular camera because it's something that they would update via software, which makes the difference. Unlike other camera manufacturers, they actually will just release a whole new camera and then you have to deal with whatever. But the Osmo Pocket isn't like that. And they will be able to just, update it via firmware, which they did like a couple days later after I returned it. Went back and got the same one that I had just bought, but I got it for like $200 and something. So it was just crazy. So yeah, that's cool. Said I'm a Nikon shooter, so I got the C6. Hey, congratulations. That Z6 is the bee's knees. Said I also have a G7X. Maybe may sell it and get an M50. Who knows? From my video. Hey, do what you gotta do. Whatever you got to do. All right, so let me jump into the edit. Hopefully, like I said, I've never done this before. So hopefully this works out pretty good. Let's see here. I didn't even set up my screen share for this. Nope, not what I was trying to do. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, so now I'm unmuted. So throw it about there, but you should be able to hear the stuff that I'm doing and see everything that I'm doing. I said as best as I can, I will answer questions and stuff like that. How did you get it so cheap? I'm all in M50 Bobby's World saying. And how did you get it so cheap? Craigslist. I just typed in camera, Canon camera, stuff that other people that don't know camera stuff will type in. That's what they're going to put in. They're not going to put in a whole bunch of specs. And that kind of gives you an idea of who the buyer is. Somebody that just got it. Like that dude who I got the M50 from, he just literally he bought it, or somebody gave it to him as a gift. He didn't want it, and he just decided that, you know, like, I didn't want to say no to the person. Is what the guy told me. He said, the Osmo Pocket. How did I get the Osmo Pocket so cheap? Because I rebought the one that I had. So I returned it. They marked it as used because technically it was, even though I had only used it for a couple days. And then they decided that it's used. So when I went back to buy it, I bought my used one back again. So that's what they had. So I just rebought it. And they didn't even flinch or blink an eye or nothing like that. They didn't care. All the last settings and stuff that I had that was on there is what was on there. So that's what happened with that one. So the way I go through and edit my videos and all that stuff, kind of got it a little bit different now. But so I'm going to run through it. I have mistakes and stuff like that like anybody else, but I'm going to run through here. And hopefully it playback and all the audio stuff is cool, but just do the best that I can. We do with what we have. So if you're curious on how to get better live streaming quality out of your Canon M50, even potentially get a look like this, that's something I get a lot of questions on since I stream a lot here on Entre Women TV. So if you want to know how to push the limits of your M50, get a setup just like this. I'm going to be talking about the exact tools that I use to live stream. I'm going to be talking about it coming up next. So when it comes to live streaming, I love using my Canon M50, and I just really regret anytime I have the right here. I'm gonna, hitting the wrong thing. Y'all making me nervous. I never did this before. Got the shakes and all that stuff, so I get nervous. I've done over 500 videos, and you think I wouldn't be nervous. I still am. My heart's racing a little bit. So I don't really like that is when this mixes from my intro. And bring that down some. Again. Because I don't want it completely gone, but I do want to bring it up some. So that's at -25, -28, which is cool. But most of when I'm editing, I have a process, but I like to go with a feel. Like, it's always about like what I'm feeling. Like, does it feel right? You know, some people say your music's too loud. Well, I'm thumping. You know, like it'll be times you'll see me mute in my video, like me talking. Because I want to hear the music. It's not just a video edit, it's an audio edit too. And what really got me on that was listening to YouTube videos in the car. And the music comes in and it's like, okay, once I heard somebody with some bass in, I'm like, okay, we jamming now. Talking about the exact tools that I use to live stream. I'm going to be talking about it coming up next. So when it comes to live streaming, I love using my Canon M50, and I just really regret anytime I have to use my Logitech C920 web camera or anything else. So when it comes to the M50, what I use is the M50 itself, and instead of using the kit lens, which I have used before, to get better light and just like a little bit sharper C920 web camera or anything else. So when it comes to the M50, what I use is the M50 itself, and instead of using the kit lens, which I have used before, to get better light and just like a little bit sharper image quality and all that, I use a Yongnuo 35mm lens, and I use that coupled with the Viltrox Speed Booster adapter for the M50. So that really does two. I don't want that to be too blurry for too long, so I'm going to cut that part out. What I go by is the say, show, spell type system, where if I'm going to say something, I don't do text so much because it's written on the lens, like I'm showing it to you, but I want to, if I'm saying something, I want to show it to you. And not only do I want to show it to you, I want you to know how like it's spelled or whatever. So like you see Young Nuo, I'm gonna say Young Nuo, you know, but I want it to be like every couple seconds, like more visually appealing. And then a Young Nuo 35 millimeter lens, and I use that coupled with the Viltrox Speed Booster adapter for the M50. So that really does two things with that Speed Booster. It helps to bring in more light onto the sensor, you know, get better focal range when it comes to, you know, what the actual lens is supposed to do, like on a Canon 6D Mark II type thing. It can now pull some of those benefits of that lens that would be on a full frame camera and put it on the M50. And in addition to that, I'm able to what they would call like a focal reducing. So instead of it being like super close like it typically would be due to the crop factor and some other technical stuff, it helps it so I can be pretty close to it like I am right now. So that's the short end of it when it comes to that. But that's the camera lens, and the Speed Booster really helps pull in the image. And that's just sitting on an Amazon Basics tripod. Okay, so I'm mentioning something else right there. So for me, I want to, now I'm like, you'll see I got the audio kind of coming down. I want to switch that out to something else now. So I have my audio up here. So like, close out some of these boxes. So right now I just got to pick some new audio and close out some of these windows so I can see a little better on my screen. Let me slide that over. All right. So I don't want to use that whole intro, but I do like that song. I was already putting together some tracks of just like, because it's more visual when you are, not visual, but it's like you have to imagine what you want to create before you start creating it, or so I think. So if I'm going to put together and cut together something, I want, like I said, I'm not just cutting the video and stuff like that. Like the audio got to make sense. I'm visualizing what I want more so than anything else. So I already got the music in mind. So now I want to make sure that that's going to groove together nicely. I want to... yeah, cross dissolve. Okay. So I just kind of, even though I'm going to fade them out individually, since I'm cutting somewhere about here when it actually gets to the drop or whatever. See, that's a false drop. I don't want that. So I'm probably gonna start up here. Reduce this down some and fade this in. Come on. Alright. This is Epidemic Sound. It's not free, but it's cheap. I'm not an affiliate for Epidemic Sound, but yeah, so that's exactly what I want. So now I cut the video back on. It's a guy called CJ Knows Tech. He has a affiliate with Epidemic Sound. You get a free trial, and if you use TubeBuddy, if you have like under maybe like 5,000 or something subscribers, they'll let you get a discounted rate. So you can get TubeBuddy for $5 a month, and then they will knock off whatever discount for Epidemic Sound. So I get both of those at a discounted rate. And that's just sign up for TubeBuddy first, which I think I have an affiliate for that. If not, I'll link it up later. Just so you go to diana.link/TubeBuddy, and then it'll go there. But I don't think that's on right now. But yeah, that way you can get some kind of discount or something like that. But right now I got to finish editing. But I love it because it's real music. A lot of that stuff is not real music. I like real to stuff. That, but that's the camera lens, and the speed booster really helps pull in the image, and that's just sitting on an Amazon Basics tripod, and I have it marked for, you know, at different spots in my office because it's a small office, but I don't like to, you know, reset everything and try to figure out what should the camera be on and all of that. So that goes into what I call my RTE process, or my record to edit process. So if okay, that's still too loud, even though I like it, it's too loud. If you got TubeBuddy already, Rob, you can, when you sign into your account, it's something like getting a discounted rate, and then they have some other stuff like Roberto Blake's templates and all kinds of stuff you can get. But they'll give you a discounted Epidemic Sound, though. Image, and that's just sitting on an Amazon Basics tripod, and I have it marked for, you know, at different spots in my office because it's a small office, but I don't like to, you know, reset everything and try to figure out what should the camera be on and all of that. So that goes into what I call my RTE process, or my record to edit process. So if I want a shot like this, if I have my desk, okay, so that's good. I just need to find this clip of a tripod that I shot. So I literally just recorded this stuff before I went live. That's where those, there it is. That's where that stuff comes into play, why I do Vlogmas, even though I suck at vlogging and all that. It helps make turnarounds faster when you want to edit and produce something same day within a 2-hour time frame. I can have an idea, come up with it, sit down, record it, edit it, and publish it. And not have to worry about anything. Alrighty, so I want to come in about there. Poor little computer, the little computer that could. Alright, and let's see what the playback is like on this one. And that's just sitting on an Amazon Basics tripod, and I have it marked for, you know, at different spots in my office because it's a small office, but I don't like to. And stop right there. Alright. Oh, you're fine with questions, Rob. Like I said, we're just hanging out. I've done enough edits to where I can edit and talk at the same time. Only thing I'm looking for is when I'm going to mess up. And I got like a blank spot here. So I wonder if I'm going to the next point, because I hate to cut together a part to where I'll get a minute into it and then I'm like, okay, screw this, I don't like the way I said it, or it's too wordy, and then I'll do it again. When it comes to unlimited power, okay, so that's another point. I always just check my gaps. I didn't this time because I edited this I recorded this video in Final Cut Pro, not Final Cut Pro, Ecamm Live, so I can hit the pause button when I mess up instead of just allowing space, which is what I should have did, because that's my recording to edit process. Let space happen so that I can do it. But I was just like, I'm just gonna hit pause and then I'll come back to it. But so I shot myself in the foot a little bit there, so I'll the different height and all that stuff. So I have all those different markings on my. So that's, again, I'm talking about the tripod. So I'm going to listen to this. So that goes into what I call my RTE process, or my record to edit process. So if I want a shot like this, if I have my desk pushed all the way up against the wall, that'd be a different shot or a different look. And so the tripod would be at a different height and all that stuff. So I have all those different markings on my tripod, and this is probably like a $23 tripod, and I love it. I've been using it now. Bobby, you got questions? You can drop them in too. Let me scroll back up. Yeah, because I can hear in Ecamm Live, it'll give me like a just like if you want to hear like some little light notification that you got a comment. So if I got a comment, I can see like how, not just see, but I can hear, even though I'm not able to watch the chat. So I can multitask. Alrighty. Height and all that stuff. So I have all those different markings on my tripod, and this is probably like a $23 tripod, and I love it. I've been using it now for about 3 years straight. I've had zero issues with it. It's light enough that I can travel with it, but it's sturdy enough that I can take it outside. And even if the wind blows a little bit, I just sit my bag on the hook on the bottom and it works. So that's that as far as the camera lens and tripod. Okay. It's my cut space. Next point. That's that as far as the camera lens and tripod. Okay. Yeah. Make that full screen so I can stop getting that thing popping up at the bottom. Alrighty. So that's that as far as the camera lens and tripod. When it comes to unlimited power, so now I want to see how long I've been running this song, because I'm ready to switch points. I switch music sometimes, unless it's a nice groovy one, but sometimes tracks get repetitive in their beats and stuff, and it frustrates the heck out of people, because it feels like, even though your point has changed, it feels like a run-on sentence or thought. Even though I've switched topics, the music is still the same, so it hasn't triggered to that person we've switched topics yet. So I'm gonna switch music again to something else. And even though this video should cut down to about a 6 or 7 minute video, it is right now, let's see here, let's go to what's his face, pick the next song. Slow music, slow talking makes people go to sleep. Maybe. Yeah, I like that one. Part of my backup tracks that I listen to. Sounds like your nighttime talk show. Welcome to the Entree Woman TV at night. We edit videos and keep making videos. Shoot. All right, let me switch here. So what I do is I will listen to, hold up. Okay. All right, my bad. And getting lost in current application. Is that right? No. Come on, computer, you can do it. All right, there you go. All right. I'll just, when I'm at work, I will listen to tracks. Like, I already have an idea of all the different videos that I want to make. I'll just listen to different ones. It's like, yeah, this one sounds like good background music. This sounds like good B-roll music. This sounds like on and on and on. Excuse me. So if it's some trap music or country music or literally anything, so I'll put together tons of playlists of this. Just got a good vibe to it. This kind of matches the brand feeling, the brand vibe of my channel. Or this would be good for an Instagram cut, 60-second something or whatever. Yep, perfect. Problem is, I like the songs that I'm listening to because I've listened to them over and over and over again. So I have trouble making sure they are low enough to suit the video and not just me wanting to just mute myself and just vibe out. Alright. Okay. Let's see how well this sounds. I don't think that's low enough. Once you edit so much, you can just visually even tell, like with the songs, the volume that you usually record at, if the audio levels are where they should be, works. So that's that as far as the camera lens and tripod. When it comes to unlimited power, you have to have unlimited power when it comes to the M50, because if you're just using the battery, you're going to maybe get about an hour and a half, an hour and 45. Anything beyond that, once you see that red light flashing, you're going to get nervous and you're screwed. But even if it goes out, you can swap the battery, and even like YouTube Studio will keep you going, but don't push it. I use the Capaxon third-party adapter, and I've done a video on that, so I'll link that up above as well. Push it. I use the Capaxon. All right. Ooh, poor little computer. Never have these spinning issues when I'm not on the interwebs. Well, I'm not streaming. I usually don't stream editing either, so. Okay. Capaxon third-party adapter, and I've done a video on that, so I'll link that up above as well. a piece of paper. So I'm giving timestamps in the middle of videos. I want to write those down. I don't have my paper and stuff handy. That's what I have to do. Good old receipt. So that way I can just add the YouTube cards where I'm saying stuff is. I use the Capaxon third-party adapter, and I've done a video on that, so I'll link that up above as well if you want to check that out. And what that will do is basically let you plug into the wall, hook it into a dummy battery in the M50 at the bottom of the camera, and it works like a normal battery. And so instead of having to recharge and whatever, you can go as long as you want to. Just a quick tidbit on that. I have accidentally, like, I'll unplug the camera and everything thinking I'm done, and I will forget to actually turn the actual camera off. So the camera is on, and I've left it on for several days, and I've actually live streamed for up to 6 hours straight with this thing going, zero problems whatsoever. Even in a thunderstorm, which was on accident again, it still worked fine. So I've definitely put some hours on this little adapter, and it's working like a charm. Next thing that I use is just a regular... Okay. And it's working like a charm. Next thing that I use is I think I'm done with Chrome, so you can close out of that. Alright. Working like a charm. Next thing that I use is just a regular USB cable that I hook in to use with my different softwares, and I'm using Camera Live and Ecamm Live as my software setup. I'll have to do a dedicated video specifically on that because it gets a little technical, but we put some hours on this little adapter, and it's working like a charm. Next thing that I use is just a regular USB cable that I hook in to use with my different softwares, and I'm using Camera Live and Ecamm Live as my software setup. I'll have to do a dedicated video specifically on that because it gets a little technical, but that's what I'm using. It's basically siphoning the image so I can still use like the autofocus, and so I can put my actual phone up there and still do that. But if I wanted to use something like the CamLink setup, that wouldn't work. So I like it with the and still do that. But if I wanted to use something like the CamLink setup, that wouldn't work. So I like it with the USB option. There is a way to do that with the PC. Different video, different time. But on this particular setup, USB option, MacBook Pro specifically, and then Ecamm Live is what I'm using for the software. All right. Bobby, I don't blame you for getting that official Canon. Not at all, but I'm a little risky. Take a second chance. It was worth it though. But But then too, only because my M50s are not on any kind of warranty, because I bought them used, so I don't get like Canon's regular warranty as if you bought a brand new one. So, you know, pay the cost to be the boss. All right, let's get some new music here. Yeah, if you still got your warranty, it's not worth the risk. It's $80. Plus, if you run a business, it's business expense anyhow. I feel like there's a mistake somewhere in this edit coming up, because I know I did not. Okay, so that's the microphone tests. Samson, Samson. So I'm scrolling because if I put my hand up like this, then that means that signaling to myself I screwed up. And I'm getting ready to do another take. If it's something small, then I'll just kind of like put my head down for a second, and then I'll come back to it. It's a long talk about this microphone. Okay, so everything being the same, this... Alright, so those should be alright. Excuse me. How do you close Craigslist? At least in St. Louis. We got so much crime here, it's pathetic. Hey, listen, I don't even know why I live here. Let's see here. But no, they didn't close Craigslist here. Facebook Marketplace is pretty cool, too. I just did my first purchase off of there. Got a $200 audio interface for $60, brand new. Again, somebody just wanted to get rid of it. And I thank the Lord that they gave it to me. And she gave me a brand new XLR cable and all kinds of stuff. How did I pick up these tips? Editing 500 videos from scratch. I learned the basics from Sean when it comes to like just watching his YouTube videos. Like I didn't pay him for coaching or nothing like that. Like I came to know Sean personally later through buying his stuff from stuff like that, and then eventually got a chance to work with him later, like 2 years later. But just doing videos, like my first business coach challenged me to do like a 30-day video thing over like 90 days or 60 days, 60 or 90 days. And it's just like 2 minutes or less, record. So I did way more than that, and I've done like 4 or 5 of them just to get better at it. And I came up with some of this stuff on my own, a lot of this stuff on my own, because when you know like if you need to sync the audio and the video together, they say clap makes a big spike in the audio, that kind of stuff, sure. But like the record to edit process, that's totally, Entree Woman TV original, because if I knew I want to mess up, like I want to visually block the lens. That I did learn from somebody or whatever, but as far as other stuff, like it's a combination of a bunch of stuff that I've learned over the past couple of years. And then when you record your own videos, like as long as it's taking me to do a 6 or 7 minute video, minus being on streaming this and stuff like that, it would take me a while because I'm thinking through all of this stuff, and I just start paying attention to what do I not want to repeat, what's messing me up. I always take a breath before I do something so I can scroll through. Like if I wanted to cut this out, I could, and I could slow that down. I'm still talking or like in the motion of talking or whatever, but anytime you'll see me cut, I'm looking for me to physically take that breath, and I'm like right there, or pause what feels natural versus like, yeah, and that's the end of the tip, and then 2 seconds go by and then you go to the next. Like I saw myself make that mistake. That's actually in my Filmora review thing from like 2 years ago. I was sitting there, tip was over, and I'm just looking at the camera like a weirdo. And I'm like, don't want to do that anymore. So I'm like, okay, as soon as it's natural to cut, I'm cutting. So you just have to do different video, different time. But on this particular setup, USB option, MacBook Pro specifically, and then Ecamm Live is what I'm using for the software. Next thing that has to be like more important than the image quality, honestly, is the microphone. Now I've used it's just a lot of trial and error. So, and then editing, being paid to edit projects for other people too. It's not a part of my business. Like bread and butter of my business is consulting. Now affiliate income is doing really well, but like actually doing like one-on-one coaching. So like when I got jobs to start editing stuff for people, it's usually like they specifically ask, and you do get paid a nice pretty penny for editing stuff for people. It helps to put that stuff into play. So MacBook Pro specifically, and then Ecamm Live is what I'm using for the software. Next thing that has to be like more important than the image quality, honestly, is the microphone. Now I've used 2 different microphones for almost 3 years now. Excuse me. Excuse me. What else? Let's see here. I just shot those earlier. It's a family gathering. Dang. Do I have it? Yeah, here it is. That, and then this one, and this one. I'll be glad the day I get a new MacBook or Mac desktop or something. I had zero intentions of completely switching to Mac, and it just happened. Because it was the bee's knees. For me, anyway. So I'm going to let that load in. I'm going to step away for a quick moment. Be right back. Okie dokie. So this is already at 4 minutes. I don't want this to go on much longer. Because I ideally wanted it to be 5 to 7. And I got a lot more to cut. Alright, so now comes the important part of what's trash. How much of this that's left over is trash. Because even though with everything, without editing the rest of this stuff, it's still under 7 minutes. But that's where it's like, where writers talk about kill your darling. I can think it's a phenomenal point. It's a great example. And then in reality, it's like, it's too many examples. So you gotta sometimes cut extra stuff. Oops. So I guess real quick, I'll just hook up this microphone. All right, so these are just mic tests. So let's see, what can I cut? Software. Next thing so now I'm into crunch mode. Like little stuff to save on time, because minutes matter most on YouTube. And then you just don't want to waste people's time in general. So that's what I'm using for the software. Even a little micro edit matters because it doesn't have to be there. And then Ecamm Live is what I'm using for the software. Next thing that has to Next thing that has to be like more important than the image. That's all right. For the software. Next thing that has to be like more important than the image quality, honestly, is the microphone. Now, I've used 2 different microphones for almost 3 years now. I've had this ATR 2100 microphone. It's an XLR and USB microphone, and so is this one. But this one is by Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, Samson, not like Samsung, but it's Samson Q2U, and this is just but this one is by Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, Samson, not like Samsung. Microphone, and so is this one, but this one is by Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, Samson, not like Samsung, but it's Samson Q2U, and this is just a little doohickey that helps it to. Alrighty, doohickey, Diana, add it to the dictionary. I could not think of what it was called. I still can't think of what it's called. To suspend the microphone, hold it. I don't know. Doohickey will do. Samson Q2U, and this is just a little. Alrighty. A little U, and this is just. This is just. Q2U. This is just a little doohickey that helps. This is just. Doohickey that helps it. Doohickey that little little everything, everything pies. Yes, this is live. I think, I think you. Well, I think that's on Facebook that you have to actually be. Can't do like pre-recorded stuff, but yep, it's live. Got on the same shirt. Just finished recording this video actually. Q2U. This is just a little doohickey that helps it to, if I hit the microphone, it won't make a lot of noise. So that's all it is. It's super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks. So I covered up my conjumbledness of not being able to know what to call it. I couldn't think of what this was called. So even though like I chopped that up to kind of make a sentence, I'm covering it up with B-roll. So you can see I'm not just going to say doohickey because I still can't think of the word of what this thing is called. I'm going to show it and then you're like, okay, that's the thing. So like that's how you can kind of cover over mistakes. Q2U. This is just a little doohickey that helps it to, if I hit the microphone, it won't. Yeah, you are making me nervous. I'm good now. This what are we in? Almost an hour and now I don't know why I was nervous. It's weird. It's weird because I don't go live unless I have something specific to share or something. This is just a little doohickey that helps it to, if I hit the microphone, it won't make a lot of noise. So that's all it is. It's super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks. All right. So I'm going to put a marker here because I might be able to cut right there, but I don't know if I want to yet. 12 bucks for this whole little thing that's holding it, but I am going to cut there because this is not necessary. The microphone, so I can just cut all of that because it's not necessary. Even though in regular conversation, some stuff is not as noticeable. Like I said, minutes matter most on YouTube, so you want to be concerned about people's interests. Are you running on, talking? And like I said, we had 5 minutes of an edited video right now. All it is super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like between these two, this one, so super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like between these two, this one has a little bit of a deeper or I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like, it's hard to edit because my computer's running slower now. For whatever reason, it's working hard. But I think about right there is enough. Cut that out. Everything Pious says I add B-roll to my videos, but because of YouTube understanding of fair use, I'm concerned. I record all of my own B-roll before I record the videos now, because I'm planning stuff out. I'll make a list. I know, since this one is easy, I know all the things that I'm going to mention, and so I want to show. My process is say, show, spell. If I'm saying something in the video, I want to show it to you, and then you should be able to see some kind of spelling, or I put the spelling in text on the screen. And as long as it's my own original stuff or some kind of paid content that I have, from some company or something like that, then it should be fine. Link that down below. It's like 12 bucks for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like between these two, this one has excuse me. I'm gonna cut that tail end off of there. That's not necessary. difference kind of like between these two, this one has a little bit of a deeper or richer audio tone to it, if you will. This one has a stronger pickup pattern. It's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference, but they essentially do the same thing. So I guess this one has a stronger pickup pattern. It's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference, but they're just looking for another potential cut spot because I don't want to keep explaining this over and over on this one part. I feel like I've hit the point, but I don't have a place where I've paused in my talking to really edit, so I'm going to try to snip out as much as possible. Essentially, that's the only difference, but they essentially do the difference, but they, and then too, I'm listening for when you're talking, you have like what they call close-ended statements and open-ended statements, and depending on how you end a sentence in the video will help to be able to make a cut in the middle of a sentence where it otherwise wasn't one to begin with. So even with me just saying to begin with, like that's a audible pause or decline as far as your voice inflection, but that part wasn't this, you know what I'm saying? Like you can hear it louder, essentially. So if I stop right there, it don't make sense for me to edit right there and try to make a sentence out of that. It don't sound right, but I can probably put it together here and try to go to the next part. If I can cut in a place that I wasn't planning to cut, jump to the next point, and it makes sense, then I know I can use it. If it feels weird and it doesn't, then I don't. And you can kind of hear the I don't even know what that part is. I haven't listened to it. But if I play this back and it makes sense, then, you know what I'm saying, that was a worthy cut. Essentially, that's the only difference. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Boom. As I said, that record to edit process, just knowing what to look for. A couple minutes of video, a couple seconds of video I don't have to listen to. Like I was saying, looking for that breath or first word. Don't have to listen to it. I can just look at myself. Once you edit enough, it just kind of comes. Let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is the, all right, so let me, okay, so everything being the same, this is the Audio-Technica ATR 20. I need to cut the audio since I'm getting ready to do an audio test. And it's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference. And you can kind of hear the difference from the to it, if you will. This one has a stronger pickup pattern. It's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this, now I bumped up my audio already to make the video louder. So 0.57, so I'm gonna increase that so it's the same. Okay, so I must have adjusted it all before I cut anything. So that's the volume. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is the is this Adobe Premiere? I use DaVinci. This is Final Cut Pro 10. And I went with this since it was closest to Filmora. As far as the simplicity of the layout, Final Cut Pro is too much for me. Not Final Cut Pro, Adobe and DaVinci. I tried DaVinci. It was too much. On the same length, so let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 with me sitting the same distance. Microphone is pretty much parallel, and you would maybe have to come in to make it a little bit stronger, bring it closer to your mouth, and eat the microphone, as they would say in the audio world, and get closer so you get that proximity effect, so it's a little bit of a deeper tone. But volume levels are still the same, but as you can tell, it is definitely a little bit of a different sound than what you get from the Samson mic. But these are the two microphones that I've used, and up until maybe a month or so ago, I've used this Audio-Technica ATR 2100, and it's worked like a gem. All right. So other than using how much is left? I'm at 6 minutes. Oh, Diana. What else do I have to talk about in this video? So that's the end of that. Don't eat that. Staying under 7 minutes. What's going on right here? And since I have a second Canon M50, I can use this one for literally that I've done a video on, and I'll link that up above in the YouTube card. Okay. I'm just looking for me to raise my hand. Like I said, if I do like this, then that lets me know, but I'm good. I got a lot of hand gestures in this video. I don't know. It seems awfully long for a close. I'm just looking for a place to hear it if I'd like. But if you want to check out the playlist on all of the different... And since I have a second Canon M50, I can use this one for... What am I talking about on this part? So other than using just some basic softbox lights that are about $60, I think, that I've done a video on, and I'll link that up above in the YouTube. 6 minutes, 21 seconds. Softbox. Card up above. That's pretty much it. And since I have a second Canon M50, I can use this one for literally anything and leave this one set up here if I'd like. But if you want to check out the playlist on all of the different, you know, individual reviews that I've done thus far on this products that I'm using, you can check that out right here. But otherwise, live with passion, guys. I'll see you in the next video. All right, so I must have got rid of the other part. I think I deleted it already. Stayed under that 7 minutes. Alright, so at the end of the mic part, we need some tunes. My typical outro. Yes, I am a Mac user. Everything pies. Now I am. Stone cold PC user for years. I just wanted Final Cut Pro to be able to do all the stuff that Filmora couldn't do. Now it can, but Filmora has a Filmora Pro. It's kind of like Premiere, and I love Filmora, but I refuse to go to a Premiere Pro type of product. I will not do it. I tell you, my friends, I will not do it. what I will do is buy a very, very cheap very cheap Mac, and we will use Final Cut Pro. And that is what I did. But then too, Mac had a bunch of, it was more than just like that. It had a bunch of stuff that was just like built in, like screen capturing and all kinds of stuff. I completely left the intro out of this one, like where I'm like, hey guys, my name is Diana with Untricked Woman TV, where I help you transition, you know, all that. I left that stuff out. I'm gonna leave it out of this one because it'll push me over 7 minutes, and I just don't want to. I'm looking for my end screen thingy. But then too, like, I felt like Final Cut Pro was a good mix between a bunch of stuff. Oh no, it's one of my test videos. Yeah, testing the flat picture profile. Alright, so where's my thingy? My end card thing. Dang. Okay, so it's not a QuickTime. Did I delete it? None of that. Don't need that. No MP3s. I don't know what I did with it. Either way, I'll just go without it because I don't know what I did with it. I'm pasting it on the screen anyway, so, which was the original intent. Alright. Alright, final review. Make sure it all gels together. I don't know how well the playback would be. For you guys, it may be a little choppy, but... So if you're curious on how to get better live streaming quality out of your Canon M50, even potentially get a look like this, that's something I get a lot of questions on since I stream a lot here on Untricked Woman TV. So if you want to know how to push the limits of your M50, get a setup just like this. We're going to be talking about the exact tools that I use to live stream. We're going to be talking about it coming up next. So when it comes to live streaming, I love using my Canon M50, and I just really regret anytime I have to use my Logitech C920 web camera or anything else. So when it comes to the M50, what I use is the M50 itself, and instead of using the kit lens, which I have used before to get better light and just like a little bit sharper image quality and all that, I use a Yongnuo 35mm lens, and I use that coupled with the Viltrox Speed Booster adapter for the M50. So that really does two things with that Speed Booster. It helps to bring in more light onto the sensor, you know, get better focal range when it comes to, you know, what the actual lens is supposed to do, like on a Canon 6D Mark II type thing. It can now pull some of those benefits of that lens that would be on a full frame camera and put it on the M50. And in addition to that, I'm able to what they would call like a focal reducing. So instead of it being like super close like it typically would be due to the crop factor and some other technical stuff, it helps it so I can be pretty close to it like I am right now. So that's the short end of it when it comes to that. But that's the camera lens, and the Speed Booster really helps pull in the image. And that's just sitting on an Amazon Basics tripod. And I have it marked for, you know, at different spots in my office because it's a small office, but I don't like to, you know, reset everything and try to figure out what should the camera be on and all of that. So that goes into what I call my RTE process, or my record to edit process. So if I want a shot like this, if I have my desk pushed all the way up against the wall, that'd be a different shot or a different look. And so the tripod would be at a different height and all that stuff. So I have all those different markings on my tripod, and this is probably like a $23 tripod, and I love it. I've been using it now for about 3 years straight. Okay, cool. I've had zero issues with it. It's light enough that I can travel with it, but it's sturdy enough that I can take it outside. And even if the wind blows a little bit, I just sit my bag on the hook on the bottom and it works. So that's that as far as the camera lens and tripod. When it comes to unlimited power, you have to have unlimited power when it comes to the M50, because if you're just using the battery, you're going to maybe get about an hour and a half, an hour and 45. Anything beyond that, once you see that red light flashing, you're going to get nervous and you're screwed. But even if it goes out, you can swap the battery, and even like YouTube Studio will keep you going, but don't push it. I use the Capaxon third-party adapter, and I've done a video on that, so I'll link that up above as well if you want to check that out. And what that will do is basically let you plug into the wall, hook it into a dummy battery in the M50 at the bottom of the camera, and it works like a normal battery. And so instead of having to recharge and whatever, you can go as long as you want to. Just a quick tidbit on that. I have accidentally, I'll unplug the camera and everything thinking I'm done, and I will forget to actually turn the actual camera off. So the camera is on, and I've left it on for several days, and I've actually live streamed for up to 6 hours straight with this thing going, zero problems whatsoever. Even in a thunderstorm, which was on accident again, it still worked fine. So I've definitely put some hours on this little adapter, and it's working like a charm. Next thing that I use is just a regular USB cable that I hook in to use with my different softwares, and I'm using Camera Live and Ecamm Live as my software setup. I'll have to do a dedicated video specifically on that because it gets a little technical, but that's what I'm using. It's basically siphoning the image so I can still use like the autofocus, and so I can put my actual phone up there and still do that. But if I wanted to use something like the CamLink setup, that wouldn't work. So I like it with the USB option. There is a way to do that with the PC. Different video, different time. But on this particular setup, USB option, MacBook Pro specifically, and then Ecamm Live is what I'm using for the software. Next thing that has to be like more important than the image quality, honestly, is the microphone. Now, I've used 2 different microphones for almost 3 years now. I've had this ATR 2100 microphone. It's an XLR and USB microphone, and so is this one, but this one is by Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, Samson, not like Samsung, but it's Samson Q2U. This is just a little doohickey that helps it to, if I hit the microphone, it won't make a lot of noise. So that's all it is. It's super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like $12 for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like between these two, this one has a little bit of a deeper or richer audio tone to it, if you will. This one has a stronger pickup pattern. It's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 with me. I knew it. Trying to get me. So if you got headphones in, and then if you look at the dialog box up here, I heard it go from 2, that's why it's good to edit with headphones in. I heard it go from both sides to just one side, and I'm like, that's not right. So mono means it'll come through both headphones at the same time, and then stereo, which is when I hooked in this microphone, this Audio-Technica one. Or is it back, or am I saying that backwards? I think stereo is like one or whatever. I think stereo is one or the other and then other, but it sounded like it switched on me. So I'm gonna listen to that again. a lot of noise. So that's all it is. It's super cheap. I'll link that down below. It's like 12 bucks for this whole little thing. The microphone, the difference kind of like between these two, this one has a little bit of a deeper or richer audio tone to it, if you will. I'll answer your question in this one has a stronger pickup pattern. It's a little bit louder, essentially. That's the only difference. And you can kind of hear the difference from 2100 with me sitting this. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is... let's just make sure. Could have sworn I seen that thing go to stereo. But cool. Okay, because I was going to say... Alright, check the comments real quick. Rob saying I was going to ask you to do a video like this, actually. Haha, so thank you. You're very welcome, sir. The Nikon power supply is like 150 bucks with the adapter. So annoying. Yeah, they charge a premium for these adapters. But I think, shouldn't your Z6B USB chargeable? Yeah. Said this is USB with that program you use, right? That is a great tip. What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. And you can kind of hear the difference from the same length. So let's do that. Okay, so everything being the same, this is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 with me sitting the same distance. Microphone is pretty much parallel, and you would maybe have to come in to make it a little bit stronger, bring it closer to your mouth and eat the microphone, as they would say in the audio world, and get closer so you get that proximity effect, so it's a little bit of a deeper tone. But volume levels are still the same. But as you can tell, it is definitely a little bit of a different sound than what you get from the Samson mic. But these are the two microphones that I've used, and up until maybe a month or so ago, I've used this Audio-Technica ATR 2100, and it's worked like a gem. So other than using just some basic softbox lights that are about $60, I think, that I've done a video on, and I'll link that up above in the YouTube card up above. That's pretty much it. And since I have a second Canon M50, I can use this one for literally anything and leave this one set up here if I'd like. But if you want to check out the playlist on all of the different, individual reviews that I've done thus far on this products that I'm using, you can check that out right here. But otherwise, live with passion, guys. I'll see you in the next video. A little fade to black never hurt nobody. Used to doing the other thing. Where is that? Nah, I'll leave it alone. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. You said this is USB with the program you use. You said you don't. Okay. Let me verify what you're saying. You say you don't go HDMI. You hook the M50 up to USB. Yes. This is, even this right now, it's probably wonky because I'm editing and all that stuff. So I'm going to render this later. But the video is otherwise done. So let me... So I do not... what's up with that? I do not use the... I have not used this in a while. The Elgato Camlink. I've not used this in a while because I get autofocus with the with the USB method. So I can't do that with the with this. I'm stuck at manual focusing. And so, I mean, it's fine. I don't have no complaints about it, really. Other than you got to make sure your computer has whatever requirements. But this is running off software. So, said, please link all your stuff. I will use your affiliate links if I buy anything. Well, why, thank you, my good sir. So this video is actually going to go out with a link to a new page on my website that I just created, because I'm not sure how YouTube is going to deal with affiliate links and stuff like that with all of these changes that they just recently made. So you can go to dianagladney.com/gear, and it's a whole page. That one is already live right now. That's what I'm going to link instead of each individual thing, because it's still associated with my website. My website still works. I just don't want to run into the risk of any things with YouTube with their recent change. So that's more than likely what I'll be doing, is having something like that. But I'll have a full everything that I use from all kinds of stuff. But right now, go to dianagladney.com/gear. That will link you to everything that I talked about in this video, everything that I use. If there's an affiliate link for StreamYard, for example, you get a $10 credit with that if you go through my referral link. And then I know Ecamm Live will give you a free trial and other stuff for like gear that I talked about. So yeah, you can check that out there. But that's my editing the actual video portion. I still got to create the thumbnail. And since I did this video, I guess I won't upload this tonight. I will probably upload it tomorrow. And after this, I'll do the thumbnail and get all that stuff loaded up. But otherwise, if y'all have some questions, that's not bad. An hour, 22 minutes for as slow as, I don't know how choppy it came through with the editing and stuff like that. The audio is probably okay, but as far as like seeing the video in Final Cut Pro, I'm not sure how that would have come across. But that's, like I said, that's just for a quick video. A lot of it is pre-planning and the thought process that goes into it way before you ever hit the record button. Record the B-roll first. What kind of vibe do I want this to have? I just want this like to be a chill video, it's real relaxed. You know, been getting questions. Here's an answer video. Here's my setup, because I got other stuff that I'm doing. I'm getting ready to launch a little mini series on the channel around live streaming. And so I said I was going to do a tutorial, not thinking I already did a tutorial on how to hook it up via USB, but I was thinking like maybe more in-depth stuff or whatever. But when it comes to the live streaming, like I'll go through StreamYard, I'll go through an overview and tutorial of Ecamm Live and stuff like that. Even like, you know, a little thing to keep up with, because I didn't have my paper or some post-it notes that weren't already written on. So, you know, writing down at 3 minutes, you know, dropping the link for the Capaxent thing, you know, so I'm like, it helps to cut a lot of fluff out, because these kind of videos would easily take me 2.5 hours. But once you have a process, a way that you're doing stuff, you're already good to go, and you kind of know how it works out. So Rob, you're saying, I don't know why this is coming up so small now. All right, so you said, I do websites, and I always tell clients your website is your backbone. They can't edit or control that. Absolutely. Oh, you said it, so it came across fine. Okay, cool. Watch the final version. Very good. I love when you do stuff like this. Thanks so much. I was hoping that it comes across well. Like I said, it's going to be, I don't know what the replay value would be for somebody to go through it. I guess I'll leave this up and let other people see how well it's received by the community, and if this is something that's helpful. But that EntreInsider's video course, this is like the kind of stuff we kind of go in depth with. This is just a watching me do it, where it's like in that program, it's like, okay, this is how I'm recording this, which is I was thinking to do that tonight, but I was like, I need to just record and be done with it. But I'll do probably not as in depth as in the course, but I'll do something where you can watch me record a video and see what that process looked like, and see like that record to edit process actually happening, and see what that's like. So I think, all right, now, why is this so small? I think it's the new Ecamm version. They come up so small. It's so annoying. I want to see if I can adjust that. That sucks. Did you subscribe to Ecamm Pro? I am one of the beta testers for the program, actually. So I bought it when it was $79 flat out. And I was mad because it used to be $29 and I didn't have a Mac then, but I knew I wanted to get this program. So I just bought a Mac so I could just go ahead and get this, and so I could get Final Cut Pro. Those were the only two reasons I wanted to get a Mac. And then I saw all the other benefits that I would get out of it and just wind up switching to Mac completely. So as a beta tester and then being able to buy it, they grandfathered me in so I don't have to pay monthly anymore. So if you're part of the EntreInsiders email community, then like I know I sent an email out to my community like, hey, if you're wanting to do this, if you're kind of where I was or you got a Mac, you're even considering it, even to have the virtual camera feature to be able to use the software, this USB version of stuff, or even be able to use this to stream to other stuff, go ahead and get it now, even if you're not going to use it now. If you know in the next 12 to 18 months you're going to be streaming, go ahead and get this because it's going to be worth it. You know, it's $80 one time or $12, which I thought it would be more because StreamYard is even more, but that's browser based. And I love StreamYard, but I love Ecamm Live. But yeah, it's just $12 a month is still a steal. But yeah, so I don't pay per month. I'm grandfathered in, so thank the Lord. I said I bought it a while back, but don't think I will pay more for the new sub model. If you already bought it, then you probably are grandfathered in. Check your account. You probably got grandfathered in. Joey the Prince said, thank you for your info on the Canon M50. Really helped me a lot. My pleasure. I'm glad it was super helpful for you. So I'm glad it was helpful for you. So I am going to wrap this video up. This video, not the edited video, because that's already done. If you guys have any lasting questions or anything like that, you can definitely drop those down below. And I will answer any questions that you guys have, whether it was in regards to something that I did within editing. That's why I try to explain it along the way. But other than that, said I am grandfathered in. I got a week trial. That was it, I think. If you bought the program before they went to monthly subscription in Ecamm Live, you should have potentially been grandfathered in. Like I said, I don't know if it was because I was a beta tester or because I already bought it, but I know as a beta tester specifically, we got grandfathered in because when new stuff is coming out, like this virtual camera feature that I can use and have this M50 look on YouTube or Facebook, or like I tried that Lula.tv and went live to Instagram, then I could use the M50. And so even though I'm not like using Ecamm Live to stream, I could still use it to even if I got another camera, I could use, you know what I'm saying? Like I could use that feature. So it was definitely worth it. So I don't have all those new features. You said, holy moly, we got a super the chat. Let's throw this up on the screens. $5 from Joey the Prince. Hey man, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I really appreciate that, because anytime you pull out of your pocket to give anything, I sincerely appreciate it. So thank you ever so much. Have any questions, let me know. Anything that I can do to help, let me know. But thank you. I appreciate that. That's dope. So Rob, you saying I did buy it 6 months ago. Just check then if your grandfathered in. Just sign back in on the program and see if that'll work for you. Said I think I still want an M50. I know I've been buttering up that M50. I dogged that camera out when it first came out. Dogged that camera out. I'm like the M50. It was late. It's like probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going off. I ain't even cut no lights on in the office. I just hit record, and I'm like, you know what, Canon, you get on my nerves. You didn't do. So I'm thinking they're going to do something that would be competitive to what everybody else was doing. I wasn't expecting them to come out like with an entry-level camera, but Canon is known for reducing the specs and stuff like that. But when you get it in your hand and you try it, then it's just like, oh, well, dag, you know. Like today, like I was, like I said, had a celebration for my cousin that passed some months ago. So the family just got together and, you know, we got a chance to have a good time together and not, you know, be all sad and all that. But So we got a chance to get the family together, and I took pictures today. Like, I wonder if I could pull that up in here. But yeah, we took pictures, or I took pictures of the family today, and I used the M50 and just the 35 millimeter lens, the Viltrox Speed Booster, and everything. I'm gonna have to talk to them and let them know that those are too small, and I don't like having to resize that consistently. So I'm gonna see if we can get that updated this week or something. Let's see here. Oh, pictures. That's what I was getting sidetracked. All right. Let me see if I can bring them pictures up. I think. If y'all want to see them. If not, then I'll pass on it. You know, I want to bore you to death. But let me show you, just to show you like some of the quality. And any mistakes are probably my mistakes, because I still make mistakes, and I'm proud of it. I never want to be so perfect. People think I'll never be able to, you know. All right, let's see. I feel like I'm having a brain fog a little bit. So you want to see a few photos, okay? Okay, let's go back. I'm trying to is this it? Okay. Let me see if it'll pull the picture all the way up. Up and away. Let me close out of Final Cut Pro real quick. I'm giving my computer too much to do. It's freaking out. Okay, hold on. All right, so now, okay, now you should be seeing a picture, I think. Preview. Okay, now I think you should be seeing the picture. So this is my sister-in-law, my cousin, nephew, family, and all that stuff. And then I've never done with the pictures and all of that. This is my cousin. I had that one too dark. Let's try this one. When it comes to the previews and stuff. It's getting too weird. I may have to close out of this. I can't get it right. Well, bah humbug. Previews, that's the second one. Okay. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. How about I just show the screen and then hopefully you can see the pictures. And then if that don't work, then I'm just going to say screw it. Okay, there we go. Merry Christmas. So that's that one. My family is super goofy, so I cannot be held responsible for what you may or may not see in these photos. So I got that one blurry. Like, I was trying to manual focus. So these people are in focus and these people are blurry. So I screwed that part up. And then let's see here. See if I did a better job. Yeah. So they weren't in focus because they were a little bit too forward, but I don't know. You live and you learn. But those, like I said, I had about, out of 200, and I don't know if this is good or not, out of 270 something shots, I had 56 good ones. That's my mom and my cousin. But yeah, not bad. Using the what's the name of? All right. So we're gonna close it out there. But yeah, like I said, I tend to screw up on my photos sometimes. I'm not perfect. All right. You said you are the biggest saleswoman for that camera. You know what? I'm gonna call Canon. I'm gonna tell them like, hey, I've sold quite a few M50s according to my Amazon affiliate, and so, alrighty. So you said still no pro features. Let's see here. So you said the pro upgrade price is $8 a month, or $240 a year, $96 a year, billed annually. That's not horrible, but I still thought I would get everything. It looks good. Great stream. Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for joining, everybody. My pleasure. All right. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in to watching me edit a video live. Hopefully that brought some kind of value to you. Thanks again to the man of the hour, the Super Chat man. That Super Chat came in from Joy to Prince. Man, that just keeps coming up smaller, it feels like. Super Chat, $5 from Joy to Prince. You are the real MVP. Rob Fuzz hanging out for the longest time. Engaging and whatnot from the get-go. And then we had Everything's Pies. Because everything is pies. So, as always, guys, live with passion and have a great, great evening. Love you guys.